The jungle is silent, but something is watching. Through the dense canopy, a soft rustle breaks the stillness. A baby gorilla clings to a branch, alone, shivering, his eyes wide with fear. Flies buzz around a still body nearby, his mother, lifeless and bloodied. The infant releases a pitiful cry, barely audible over the hum of the forest. Dr. Lena Hart, boots muddy and camera in hand, freezes. Her radio crackles behind her, but she doesn't hear it. Her eyes lock on the scene in front of her, an orphaned baby gorilla, barely weeks old, sitting beside the mutilated body of his mother. Poachers. Again. Her heart breaks, but her instincts take over. She steps forward slowly, whispering soothing words. The baby flinches but doesn't run. He's too weak. His chest rises and falls in shallow breaths, and his legs tremble as he tries to move. Lena knows the odds. Without intervention, he won't survive the day. But protocol says she can't interfere. The sanctuary rules are clear. Observe, document, do not disrupt. But she's already kneeling. Cradling him in her arms, Lena feels the fragile rise and fall of his chest. He doesn't fight. He doesn't even whimper. He simply clings. Tiny fingers grasping at her shirt like he's already decided she's all he has left. Lena whispers, "It's okay, little one. I've got you now." And just like that, she crosses a line she can never uncross. Back at her research compound, the other scientists are stunned. Some protest. This isn't their job. This isn't safe. But Lena doesn't listen. She's done everything by the book for years. And for what? To walk away and let this creature die? She names him Kumo, Swahili for cloud. At first, he barely eats. Lena sleeps beside his enclosure, wakes every 2 hours to feed him goat's milk through a syringe. She wraps him in blankets, plays gorilla vocalizations to keep him calm, and sings softly when he whimpers in the night. Slowly, Kumo begins to respond. His eyes lose their vacant stare. He clutches her finger with growing strength. His fur thickens. His curiosity returns. The months pass, and Kumo grows fast. He learns to climb, to play, to mimic Lena's expressions. When he's frightened, he runs to her. When he's happy, he pounds his chest, just like he's seen her do during playtime. Their bond deepens, not like pet and owner, but something more ancient, more primal, like family. But Lena knows this can't last. By the time Kumo turns 3, he's already the size of a large dog, his strength far beyond hers. He's playful, gentle, but unpredictable. One accidental shove sends Lena sprawling across camp. The sanctuary team grows concerned. So does Lena. One night, sitting by the fire with Kumo dozing beside her, she stares into the flames and makes the hardest decision of her life. She must surrender him. Not because she doesn't love him, but because she does. The day of departure arrives, and the camp feels colder. Dr. Lena Hart watches from the edge of the enclosure as Kumo lounges in the sun, his massive frame now a shadow of the infant she once cradled. His silver-tipped back gleams under the morning light. He catches her gaze and lets out a low, familiar grunt, the sound he makes when he wants her attention. Her chest tightens. The sanctuary team preps the transport cage. Reinforced steel, thick padding, a tranquilizer gun on standby. Lena hates it. Everything about this feels wrong, unnatural. But the reality is clear. Kumo can no longer stay here. He's too strong, too unpredictable, and more importantly, he deserves the wild. She kneels beside the bars, whispering softly, "They're going to take you somewhere better, somewhere free." Kumo reaches his hand through the gap and touches her face. It's a gesture he's done since he was a baby, palm to cheek. It used to make her smile. Today, it shatters her. When they sedate him, she stays by his side until his breathing slows. She holds his arm, brushes his fur, and kisses the top of his head. "I'll find you again someday," she whispers. "I promise." But part of her knows this is goodbye. Kumo is flown to the Mbali Wildlife Sanctuary, a remote, expansive conservation zone deep in Central Africa. There he joins a transitional group of other rescued gorillas. Some are wild-born like him, others were born in captivity. Together, they're trained to survive, how to forage, climb, avoid predators, and form social bonds. The sanctuary staff track his progress daily. He's a fast learner. For months, Lena receives reports. At first, she devours every word. Kumo initiated contact with a juvenile female today. Kumo successfully built a night nest. She smiles, then cries, then reads them again. But as the months stretch into a year, the updates slow. Kumo is no longer an anomaly. He's becoming what he was always meant to be: wild. One final report arrives. Kumo has integrated into a small bachelor group. Tomorrow, they will be released into the protected reserve. Lena stares at the message for hours. She doesn't reply. That night, she unpacks an old box. Photos, journals, a torn blanket Kumo used to sleep with. In the corner is a short video from years earlier. Kumo, tiny and fuzzy, trying to climb up her leg and tumbling back into her lap. She laughs softly through tears. Then she deletes the sanctuary contact from her phone. Years pass. Lena changes posts, moving from field research to university work. She teaches conservation biology. Students adore her, but they never see the way her expression flickers when someone mentions gorillas. She rarely visits the jungle now, too many ghosts, until one invitation changes everything. An old colleague reaches out. "We've reopened the Mbali trails to researchers. Would you like to lead a team?" Lena hesitates, then accepts. 2 months later, she boards a safari jeep headed into the heart of the reserve, unaware that something massive watches her from the trees. The sun dips low over the Mbali Reserve, painting the treetops in deep gold. Dr. Lena Hart rides quietly in the back of the open-top jeep, camera in hand, her heart pounding louder than she'd admit. The jungle looks familiar yet unfamiliar. Time has reshaped it. Somewhere out here, Kumo once walked. But that was years ago. He's gone now. That's what she tells herself. The guide stops near a watering hole. The group disperses to explore on foot, flanked by rangers with rifles slung casually at their sides. Lena lingers near the edge, drawn by a dense patch of foliage. Her instincts kick in. She motions to a nearby ranger. "Just a few minutes. I'll stay close." He nods. Camera slung across her shoulder, Lena steps off the trail, her boots sinking into soft moss. She kneels to examine a cluster of broken ferns. Distinct, recent. Something large moved through here. Her fingers trace the bent stems, the mud still wet. But as she rises, a sound stops her. A low growl. Not a gorilla. Lena turns slowly. 20 feet away, half shrouded in the underbrush, a leopard crouches, muscles tense, tail twitching, eyes locked on her. Its coat glistens with sweat and dust. This isn't a chance encounter. This predator is stalking, waiting. Her breath catches. She doesn't move. The leopard steps forward silently, paws gliding across the forest floor. One leap, and it's over. She tries to speak, but nothing comes. The world narrows to those golden eyes, and the air tightens around her chest. Then an explosion of motion behind her. The undergrowth erupts with a thunderous roar. Trees shake, birds scatter. The leopard jerks its head just in time to see him burst through the shadows. A massive silverback gorilla charging on all fours, towering, furious, unstoppable. Lena stumbles backward as the ground trembles beneath her. The leopard hisses, stepping sideways, unsure. The gorilla doesn't stop. He pounds his chest once. Boom! The sound echoes like thunder. The leopard bolts, vanishing into the brush in a flash of spots. Silence. Lena scrambles to her feet, trembling. Her eyes rise slowly to meet the creature now blocking her path. He's enormous, nearly twice the size of any gorilla she's ever seen in the wild. His breath comes in heavy bursts, and his fists clench and release with restraint. He stands fully upright now, the jungle behind him dark and still. Their eyes lock, and suddenly Lena knows. She takes a step forward. "Kumo!" she whispers. The silverback tilts his head slightly, nostrils flaring. He lets out a soft rumble, not a warning, but a sound filled with memory. Her throat tightens. "It's you." He doesn't move, doesn't roar. He just watches her, close, calculating, curious. From a distance, the safari guide bursts through the trees, shouting her name. Kumo turns sharply toward the voice, protective instinct flaring. Lena instinctively holds up her hand. "Wait," she whispers, not to the guide, but to Kumo. And the great silverback pauses, just enough. Then, with a final glance, he turns back into the jungle, disappearing as quickly as he came. But Lena doesn't move. She's shaking, stunned, heart thundering in her chest. He remembered her. Lena can't sleep. That night, the jungle hums outside her tent, but her mind replays every second of the encounter. The leopard, the roar, the eyes, that unmistakable look. It wasn't survival instinct. It wasn't chance. The way he stood between her and danger, the way he looked at her, it was him. Kumo. But how? How could he possibly remember her after all these years? At dawn, she joins the rangers for a tracking expedition, officially to monitor guerrilla migration patterns, but Lena has another mission. She's not searching for data, she's searching for a ghost. Hours pass. They find signs, broken branches, shallow nests, piles of scat. Lena kneels near a twisted fig tree. Fresh footprints, giant, still warm, a dominant male. Her breath hitches. "We're close," she murmurs. One of the rangers motions her forward silently. Through a curtain of vines, they spot him. The silverback. He's perched on a boulder, surveying his territory with regal calm. Around him, a small troop of guerrillas, juveniles, females, a few younger males, graze and play. He's their leader now, a protector, a king. Lena's throat tightens as she steps slowly into view. One of the juveniles chirps a warning, alerting the group. Kumo's head turns sharply, eyes locking onto her from across the clearing. For a heartbeat, no one moves. Then, slowly, Kumo rises to full height. The rangers freeze behind her, fingers inching toward their rifles. But Lena lifts her arm slightly, her body trembling. "Don't," she whispers. "He knows me." Kumo stares at her. His chest rises and falls, the muscles beneath his fur flexing with tension. And then he takes one step forward, then another. The others scatter, wary of this strange human. But he doesn't stop. He walks slowly, deliberately, until he's just a few feet away. Lena doesn't breathe. His scent floods her senses. Earth, moss, wildness. He stops in front of her, 7 feet tall, hundreds of pounds of sheer power, and yet he reaches out, not to strike, not to intimidate, but to touch. His fingers brush her shoulder, then her face, gently, as he did when he was small. She gasps, eyes brimming. "You remember," she chokes out. Kumo lets out a deep, throaty rumble, softer than before, not a warning, a greeting, a memory. Lena can't help it. Her hand reaches up, trembling, and she places it over his massive palm. Time dissolves. The jungle fades. For a moment, there is only them, human and gorilla, bonded by something stronger than species or science. One of the younger gorillas whines in the distance, and Kumo's head turns. Duty calls. He looks back at Lena once more, his eyes steady, then steps away. But before he disappears, he does something that stops her breath. He beats his chest, twice. Softly, Lena nods. "I know," she whispers. "I love you too." And with that, Kumo vanishes into the jungle. But this time, she doesn't feel grief. She feels awe. The footage hits the internet within hours. One of the rangers, hands still shaking, had captured everything. The leopard, the charge, the moment Kumo reached out to Lena. No one expected it to go viral. But by morning, it has over 3 million views. The headline reads, "Wild Gorilla Saves Woman from Leopard. What happens next leaves rangers speechless." But Lena doesn't care about the clicks. She's still in the jungle, still trembling from what she witnessed, what she felt. Nothing could have prepared her for the moment his hand touched her face, like no time had passed. Like the years, the miles, the pain hadn't erased a thing. Reporters flood her inbox. Wildlife foundations request interviews. University colleagues send stunned emails. Is this real? Is it the same gorilla? Is it possible? She answers none of them. Instead, she sits in the sanctuary's observation hut, staring out over the forest canopy, sipping lukewarm tea. The jungle breathes quietly now. The trees sway. Birds cry overhead. But every few minutes she thinks she hears something deeper than wind, a familiar rumble, a branch snap, a presence. Later that day, the sanctuary's trail cameras confirm it. Kumo was there, watching her, from a distance, not just once, 3 times in the last 2 days. Each time standing still, barely visible, but unmistakably him. He didn't approach again. He didn't need to. He knew she was safe. Word spreads within the conservation world. Wildlife behaviorists are stunned. Some call it imprinting, others emotional projection. But Lena knows better. It wasn't science. It was memory. It was love. One foundation launches a fundraiser in Kumo's name, the Cloud Project, to support orphaned gorillas and their reintroduction. Donations pour in, letters too, survivors of war, of trauma, of separation, write to say how much Kumo's story meant to them, that even animals can remember and forgive and return. One letter stands out. It's from a child, handwritten in pencil on lined paper. "Dear Dr. Hart, I saw your gorilla friend on YouTube. He looks strong. I hope he remembers you forever. I hope he knows you're his mom." Lena weeps. Months pass. She returns to her university position, but nothing feels quite the same. She keeps a single photo on her desk, one taken by a ranger just moments before Kumo vanished. In it, he stands between her and the jungle, backlit by golden light, his eyes calm, his body still. And every so often, a new photo arrives from the sanctuary team. A blurry trail cam shot, a silhouette, a familiar shape in the mist, always watching, always nearby. And in those quiet moments, Lena smiles. Not because she's holding on to the past, but because she knows it's still out there, moving through the trees, leading his troop, wild, whole. And because deep in that endless jungle, he remembers. Not all bonds can be explained. Some are written into us, etched deep in memory, untouched by time or distance. What Lena and Kumo shared wasn't just about survival. It was love, recognition, and a promise kept across species. In a world that often forgets, he remembered. Would you have recognized him? Would you have trusted that he still knew your face? Let us know what you would have done in Lena's place. And if you believe animals truly remember the ones who saved them. If this story moved you, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs a reminder that love, real love, never disappears. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay wild and stay kind.